Welcome to the workshop, How to Scale and Grow by 10x using AI and our exclusive ecosystem. What you're going to learn is how to leverage AI, how an ecosystem is absolutely necessary to grow and scale by 10x. And you're going to want to be a part of this kind of growth because it's a once in a lifetime. The way technology is coming together, it's the perfect storm of opportunity. I'm going to give you 10 steps, and then I'm going to give you something at the end, and maybe even during the time. So I don't know. We're going to see. But I'm telling you what, you're at the right place at the right time. I've done over 350 podcasts. I've worked for pretty much 50 some years, being dyslexic, being ADD, having the challenges and the mindset, never realizing that was my superpower till 3 years ago. And I've spent with my partner, Jeff Bourgeois, this last 3 years building this model with him. And you're going to get some incredible value out of this. And you can walk away with a plan, a strategy to absolutely 10x your business immediately. Not you won't 10x it immediately, but your mindset will be that way. So let me go to the slides. So the first one is assessments. Okay, you have to have a way to capture the people. You got to get leads. You got to assess people. Daniel Priestley is famous for this on the 7-11-4. But if you're not assessing, if you're not getting an idea, if you're not testing, if you're not getting information from people, and you can, and I'm going to put up our assessment so you can do it, so you can take our assessment. I got to know where you are to be able to help you and strategize. And so you got to know the pain of your prospects. When you know the pain, you can take care of them. You can service them. You can add the value. And this is scalable for every business. Every single business needs an assessment. And you also need a waiting list. And that's creating capacity with a waiting list. You got to have production capacity. You look at things like Rolex. If you walk in the store and you want to buy a Rolex, you got to get on a waiting list. When Elon Musk introduced the Cybertruck, what did he do? He put a waiting list out there. Got 1 million people to put $100 down. That's a buying signal. That's a waiting list. Then he goes to the bank and says, I've got 100 million people spend $100. That's $100 million to be able to build the factory. That was 3 years out. Now they're out in the market. So when you do that, you got to be able to know if people are interested. People voted. They had buying signal was the $100 deposit. So that was 3 years out, and he got $100 million. So he started. I mean, Daniel Priestley's been doing it for long before that, but that's a good example for y'all. It's always good to slow down, get off the busy bus, and on your purpose plane where you can think, where you can strategize. And when you do that, you'll see clues out there. Second, okay, the next thing, let me see if I can go, there we go, is podcasting. I've done 350 podcasts. And it basically, not only are you building digital assets, which a podcast is a digital asset. I want you to do something for me. Search Pete Kane podcast Pete or Pete Kane podcast. See what you see. Then search yourself. What do you see? Well, that's the opportunity, that gap. And you got to, when we're moving into a digital economy, digital assets are critical. And creating a podcast, it's going to be out there. So you have to aggressively build your digital footprint. And you can create from the podcast online courses. We have a way to do that. You're building relationships. I'll tell you, just yesterday, I had a guy on my podcast who actually I had been listening to Daniel Priestley's podcast, and he had said something about a score. But then when I had Christian on my podcast, he said, I asked him, how do you want people to reach out to you? He said, well, I have an assessment and I have my newsletter. So I put it in there and we did the podcast. It was an absolute incredible podcast, great story. And he's just a phenomenal person. But he was telling me yesterday, as I was on one of his, it's kind of a strategy session. I don't know how to describe it, but it was excellent. And he talked about PSD, but he didn't talk about PSD. He talked about PTSG, post-traumatic, well, you know what it stands for. But instead of PTSD, which is depression, it was growth. So it was PTSG. We go through hardship and we grow. Battle tested, we grow. Look at the recent Olympics. Recent elections. Look at the recent election. Which one was battle tested? Which one was not? So obvious, man, you just can't deny that. Two attempted assassinations, impeachment, felony, everything. That guy had more people after him. And if you thought you were tough, go through his shoes. But he was battle tested. And he grew. He grew to the point he understood strategy. And he went out there, he got on podcasts. He was on Joe Rogan. The other person was afraid. You can't be afraid in business. You can't be afraid to be transparent and let people know who you are. She wasn't. Nobody knew what she was. She wasn't battle tested. She rose through the ranks with her pretty looks. And that will only get you so far. It absolutely crushed her. To lose 7 battleground states, every single one, lose the popular vote, and absolutely get outspent, $1.5 billion. If I was a Democratic donor and the way she wasted money, man, I wouldn't donate ever again. So now you lose, you hide, you're scripted, you're not honest, you don't let people get to know, ask you questions. She's never been battle tested. Never. And it showed. Man, that was a disaster. No battle tested. You got to be battle tested. You grow through adversity. And President Trump grew through adversity. So podcasting also builds relationships. Building relationships, I have 3. I had some repeats, but let's say I had 250 different guests. I know them. I know their story. The relationship is completely different. I had Paul. This is a perfect example. So he flips the script. So what he does in education is find your school first, get your schools down for your kids, then get your house. So most people get a house, then they realize, oh, there's no schools here that service my son or my daughter's needs. And in the case with him, because he was in a dyslexic focused education process, that's 20% of the population. So you got to be aware of these things. So the strategy is get your education higher priority, get that centered, then find your house. But he said flip the script. So now I'm flipping the script, but I learned that from him. So now I'm having my podcast relationships come back and interview me. That way they get up to date on what's going on and they get practice creating digital assets. And when you can repurpose things like that, it's phenomenal because it's creating digital assets. And we have a game now. The game is build that digital footprint as quickly as you possibly can. Give people a chance to get to know you, like you, and trust you. And they do it through 7, 11, 4. They gotta consume 7 hours of you. When they do that, they're starting to get to know you. 11 buying signals. That's things like maybe assessment, comment, requesting something. That's Zero Moment of Truth by Google. The studies were 10.6, I think. When somebody does 10.6 searches, they're basically ready to buy. So you're doing that. You're raising your hand, saying you're interested. When Elon did the Cybertruck, that was 1 million people that were given buying signals. They were willing to put $100, even though it was 3 years out. They wanted it because just the way he does things. He's the Einstein of our time. And so that's the second one. Third one is coaching. Now, Business Community Coach, we coach our communities. We have a magazine and we coach each magazine for strategy. But let me just get back. Let's put that aside for a second. If you're climbing Mount Everest, big mountain, there's a whole strategy where you're basically the first day, you're in a pad, you're getting to the base camp one, but you're finding a guide, a mentor, somebody's that's done it many times and is going to teach you a strategy how to do it. If you went out there and said, I'm just going to climb Mount Everest, I'm going to do it by myself, you ain't going to make it. You are not going to make it. You'll probably die because there's nothing easy about that. 4 base camps, different wind conditions, different weather conditions, everything that you need a guide that knows the mountain, a coach that can get you through the potholes, that can give you feedback, that can challenge you, get you to the next level. That's why we have a coach for each magazine. And we hire the best, high performance. I hire Brendon Burchard, who's the best in the world. His program is Growth Day. Search him. He probably has more out there than any human being on this planet. Been doing it for 20 years. He certified me. He certified our community. So you can have a coach, nothing wrong with it, but then there's high performance coach. It's a step above it. So why not hire the best? You get feedback, challenge it. You get a whole curriculum of 20 years of testing, and you get it in each magazine. We coach each community. 20 people, we community coach. We build a pod per se. If you're a golfer, Paul Azinger won the Ryder Cup with creating little mini pods. Same concept. Each magazine has 2 groups of 10 in there. 1 hour, we do the coaching, the strategizing, and then 1 hour we create the content. So that's our formula. So let me give you let's go on. Magazine and community. So this magazine, and let me put it up here because I want you to see this, because this thing, it builds community. It's a digital asset and it's scalable. We do the same thing. We have a waiting list and we wait for you to make buying signals. So you'll find in a lot of cases, you'll ask people about something like, hey, I'm coming out with this. And you ask them if they would buy it and they go, oh yeah, man, that's the greatest idea I've ever seen. Then you say, okay, it's $500 to start. Oh, not for me. I meant for other people. Then that's not a serious buyer. There's no buying signal. People do it with money. They put their money down. When they put their money down, they're serious. And that's the way we are. Once we fill a magazine up, then we start it. And that magazine could be any city, could be a shopping center, could be a group, anything you want. We have it in our system. And it's a digital asset. When you're in the magazine, let me see if I have it right here. Here's the magazine. Kennesaw Happenings. So if you go to Amazon, search Kennesaw Happenings, and you'll see a copy of our first U.S. magazine. There's about 30 to 32 people in it, along with other things. But you'll be able to see it. We can get it to you anywhere in the United States, probably world. I don't know, but probably world in just a few days. So we create that community, put it in a printed asset, and we make it available for the people in that community. So the community is a group of people. Like I said, it can be a city, Kennesaw Happenings. It could be a shopping center. We put it together. We strategize. We help you build those relationships with those 20 people because we're meeting every week. We meet on a strategy session for one time. Then when we're building the digital assets with our strategy, we meet another time to generate, create. Okay, let me go to the next one. Let me get rid of this. Okay, Growth Day, personal development. Okay, Growth Day, this is the best personal development app in the world. Brendan Burchard, who, if you're into business, you have to know of this guy. He's written many books. He's got the community of Growth Day is about 500,000 and growing fast. When I joined 9 months ago, I heard about him on a podcast with Egg Millet. And I had seen him in a weekend event 10 years before that, kind of lost touch with him. Then when I Googled it, I realized what I had. I ended up, one, starting at the basic, which was $49 a month. And I had a few days to try it out. He's speaking to you personally every day. And then there's 8 people that are the primary teachers. So every topic has 8 perspectives. These are multimillionaires that are teaching you, not somebody that says to do something and doesn't do it. These are talented people. There is so much content in there. If you just did nothing but every day get better, you'll grow your business by 10x. So you want to try it for 7 days for free? You can try it. Go to PeteKane.me/growth day, and you can try that. 7 days for free. And you'll see it has goals. It has a journaling aspect of it. It has habits. It has a prompting on the journaling. It has creating habits are so important to creating outcome. Goals, if you don't have your goals right in front of you, you're a ship without a rudder. And there's a goal session in there. And it's scalable. Everybody in our ecosystem, that's part of it. So if you're growing, you're striving, you're getting better, you're mastering things, you're just going to be 10x growth. And that's what I've seen in the short period. I've been coached by 2 certified high performance coaches. I am a certified high performance coach. So it's a different, but you can do something to invest in yourself for $50 a month. And there, if you go to PeteKane.me/growth day and you join its affiliate program, then if you join, then just go and do support at PeteKane.me. We got a free course for you if you get it from our community. Okay? All right. Now let me go on and give you a number. I had it on my wall here. I need to put it back up. I think it's number 6. These are live events. Let me get this off here. Okay. So live events, part of high performance growing, part of 10x scaling is you got to conquer your fears. If you're afraid to speak in public, you're not going to grow your business. Maybe you'll get barely by, but that in itself doesn't guarantee you success because 80% of the businesses fail in the first year. And if you're fearful, and I had a person that was fearful, I asked him twice, had all kinds of excuses, and I basically said, "What's going on?" He's fearful. What are you afraid of? I mean, it is the second biggest fear to dying. But if you're going to grow by 10x, these are the things you got to conquer. And we teach and put you together, build community, learn how to speak 5 minutes. So we put 5-minute talks together. So you can go to, I think I have it up here. if it's /live, but I think no. Our next event is January 18th. So if you pkane.me/live, you could register. It's a Eventbrite, so you can get in there and register. But you have to be on our podcast or be invited by a person. This is our community. We want people that look after each other. And if somebody invites you, they're responsible for making sure you're a good person. So, all right. So next we have a branded ambassador. Our community is basically, we keep the money in the community. We help each other. So we build the community, leverage your marketing, and it's scalable. So basically, you're a brand ambassador, and anybody that refers people to us once they've had the podcast, then we give them 15%. So that way, we're rewarding people to spread the word. We don't want you spreading the word unless you believe in what we're doing. So that's why you have to do a podcast. If somebody wants to refer, you have to have been on the podcast. I got to see if you're a nice person, if you're part of a community that wants to strive to help each other. If you do, then we go to the second step. If you're not, we just don't want you. We don't want to have people that are just looking to be sharks and grab stuff. So brand ambassador. Send out cards is the secret weapon of secret weapons. So that is number 8, and that is staying top of mind, personable, it's educational, and it's scalable. Now, is a handwritten card better? Yeah, but it's not scalable. Could you write 1,000 every month? No. Handwritten letters, thank you notes? No. But you can do that with send out cards. You could stay top of mind. You can stay top of mind. And we educate through our cards too. And it's scalable. And if you want to go send out cards, just put /send out cards. And you get, I think it's one free card. Okay, AI, this is the secret sauce right here. I can't tell you enough. If you haven't been trying AI, man, time is going to just kick you in the butt because you're too busy to try this out. You're going to be regretting it. Because my partner, Jeff Bourgeois, spent, 10 months, 9-10 months. And this guy is more focused than I've ever seen anybody in my entire life. And this is transformational technology. You're going to be talking before AI and after AI because it's a compounding effect. It's like compound interest times 100. Every business is implementing it. Every business is sharing, collaborating. It's getting more and more data. It just keeps getting stronger and stronger. So one day in this today is probably like 5 years. I mean, maybe that's a little of exaggeration, but the point is, you wait 6 months, you wait a year, you're never going to be able to catch up. Never. Period. You're done. Your competitor that starts today and implements AI will blow by you like you're standing still. So that's why you have to get started. So if you go to pkane.me/AI, you get a free course, free mini course. Got to figure out how it can be implemented into your business. Jeff kept talking to me about it, and I said, I'm busy. I was on the busy bus. But once I actually experienced it on my phone, I was putting a course together, and I gave it, the basic outline for the course, and it spit it out in 15 seconds. It would have taken me months, and I probably would never have done it if I didn't have that assistant. So you put 10% in, then you let AI do 80%, and you do the final 10%. So people say the plagiarism thing. I think that's kind of a myth. What you're doing, every idea out there, you think we got 8 billion people, you think your idea is unique. I used to hear people go, I don't want to tell you, I don't want anybody to steal my idea. Give me a break. Hey, you got to implement. That's the thing. Look, ideas are a dime a dozen. Everybody has ideas, but not everybody implements. And with the speed of AI, you're able to implement faster, you're able to get better, and every day counts in the world of AI because transformational technology is upon us. And you can either pretend you don't know what's going on, and then life and business will fly by you, or you can be a part of it. Learn about it. Learn how it can help your business. Go to pkane.me/AI. So the last is going to be social media amplification. You got to leverage your message. Know, like, and trust is upon us. That's the 7-11-4. 7-11-4 is a formula that if you get to know, Google Daniel Priestley. Google him and see and listen to some podcasts. Probably one of the best at scaling, is the best at scaling and growing businesses. I think he's done 8 and he builds them up to a big level. But learn about it, how, and you'll see him out there. He's out there creating digital assets and getting his message out there. And it's leveraged from using social media. So that, my friend, is your key to the future. Now, you have a choice. Do you want to scale and grow your business? Do you want to invest in joining? You got to take an assessment, but if you go to pkane.me/opportunity, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. We have 20 people that we're going to put through a beta in January, February, March. We want 20 success stories. And we are going to pull out every stop to help those 20 people amplify their story with our story. Because if we get results like I know we can, then we have 20 people that are going to be telling the world. So that we're looking for it. And it's $750 to start. But you have to have been on the podcast. I do not take anybody that has not been on the podcast. I have 300, at least 300 out there. I'm not concerned. I want to hand choose people, but you got to tell me. Buying signal, $750 and $50 a month through Growth Day. So your investment is under $1,000. It's in you, in your future, in taking this ecosystem, having us strategize with you once a week for 1 hour, and then once a week for another hour where we create the content. We put that content out there because we have 12 weeks to launch you, activate you. And once you see how that gets done, you'll never look back. So I hope that this has been beneficial to you. Look, we're in some crazy good times. Generate generational wealth for you and your family. There's an opportunity like you've never seen in your lifetime. But if we don't capture that opportunity, we're going to be in regret. Because I have a friend, he was my landlord, and he was talking to me when Bitcoin was 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 in that range. Now it's 106. And he had an interesting story. I don't totally know that this is going to work, but it makes sense. He'd done his homework. It made sense. And he started investing in it. I tell you, now, I don't know how many, there is a certain amount of Bitcoin, so it's only going to go up. But a lot of people don't want to believe it. Hey, it's up to you. It's up to you. So go to pkane.me, take the assessment if you haven't. If lately, we're doing a flip the script, so we want you to interview me. If you've been on my podcast, that's what you're going to be seeing here real soon. So if this is something that you think you know somebody that wants to grow and scale and you want to bless them, share this with them. Because if I didn't know about Growth Day, my life would be dramatically different. But I did. And somebody shared, and I share it with everybody I can because it's so impactful in your personal development. So thank you so much. I'm Pete Kane. Be bold. Be bold. take action, make an impact, and have fun. Be bold, make an impact, and have fun.